Like we in the club, fly flashy, grown classy, still turn to the dub. Saturday mornings, no walk of shame, we fresher. 950 lounge, that's my guilty pleasure. I don't miss my favorite show, I put everything on hold. Work the baby, even the babysitter know. When 950 come on, don't bother. I'm locked in 10 to 1, no problem. Turn on the radio. You and I turn on the radio. Yeah.
We're back on the Ride 950 Lounge Live Saturday morning, Coast to Coast Radio. Thank you for tuning in. Big thanks again to the cast of Mistake. They'll be back a little later with Question of the Day. But we have another young lady here who's doing her thing. She's in the entertainment world. She's an artist, a musician, record label owner. I mean, just does it all. And a comedian. I just found that out now.
Yeah.
You really
she recognized one of our cast
keeps
members.
it going, yeah. Well, and not the one you think.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
That's a whole sequel of his own.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Orange to New Black and so many more things, the lovely, super talented Ashley North. Welcome to the show,
Thank you for having me.
Oh, welcome.
Thank you. Okay.
That's not real clap.
I know. Hey, that didn't know that.
You want a soul clap instead?
The rodeo don't, please.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
We know you spent your life in Harlem. We know that.
No, how the hell
So does
did you
Malcolm.
name
He knows
rodeo,
too.
by the way.
Oh, really? But that's all Campbell.
Oh, okay. No, never mind. Meanwhile, back at the ranch here.
It won't matter. It won't matter on camera for rodeo. It's like, do I know you?
No, never mind.
Every black man I know.
Now, Ashley, you're from the great state of Oklahoma.
Oh.
Home of Billy Sims and J.T. Watts. So you know names ring a bell?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured you would know that. He would.
Barry Switzer.
He like, who's
I don't know what we talking about right now. I'm so lost.
Good. It's not
Blake
for
Edwards.
you.
You showing your age again?
Good for it. Great.
No, I'm showing I'm giving homage to the great state of Oklahoma, the Seminole State.
Let me ask you, how did you
Let's
feel when
go
Kevin
Thunder.
Durant left?
You know, I didn't live in Oklahoma at the time, but they were rioting the city. It was like, dude, like the guy, they built sandwiches and drinks and
Kevin Durant.
I'm surprised they didn't build a monument for the son of a bitch. You know, I mean, it was like all of a sudden, man, it was like, oh, you're leaving? We built a monument for your ass.
Ashley North, ladies and gentlemen.
What do you mean?
I didn't know you was that passionate about
That's Kevin Durant right now calling. What you mean he let build a
6'10"
monument?
black men. But let's talk about Orange the New Black. There's no black men in Orange the New Black, or at least in the set.
They actually are oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
I've done this before.
Yes, you have.
Every other Tuesday. No, and some Fridays. No, I'm kidding. Okay. No, they actually are guards. They are guards. So you know that because that is
COs.
Yeah, COs like we know why you're here. And I think that when I get casted for a lot of things, I'm always in prison, so they've obviously met my family too.
I didn't say that. She did.
No,
I'm done. I'm so done right now. I'm done.
No, and you
Radio host calls white
I like
prison
Ashley.
guard.
I like her G-Money.
and because you know it's like it's for real. It's like my dad was an old street guy, you know.
The bootlegger's boy.
No, but bootlegger's boy, but he was, you know. But seriously, my dad was a boxer, and he fought Muhammad Ali in 1955 in Louisville, Kentucky. But in the hindsight,
Did Ali win?
Ali won because my dad had been in a bar fight, and someone had broke a bottle over his head. That's what I'm saying. And my dad was 17, 18.
Wow.
But he also trained Sean O'Grady to go to the World Championship.
Sean O'Grady, a name from the past. Yeah. We got a call on the line. Caller, who are you and where you calling from? And welcome to 950 Lounge.
Good morning. This is Raul.
Raul! You got 10,000 flyers. You're painting New York City with flyer cards. I saw the ad.
Hey, listen here. I just happened to go through IG and you guys posted a picture of 3 beautiful ladies. Let me call and see what's going on.
He's trying to get a casting call, ladies. He's trying to get a casting call.
Raul. I might even call you Victor.
Stood and you said, "Why are you here?" And he heard me.
They had you on hold and I was listening to their voice. I said, how come I ain't getting invited today?
Oh, he's so funny.
Oh, Vic, listen, I don't make, listen, Vic, man, I'm sorry. The door's always open for you anyway.
They called us, Vic.
Hey, Vic, why I got you here?
They can't drive.
That's what wrote it. I didn't say that. If it don't come from my mouth, it's fake news. But while we got you here, we mentioned the checklist earlier. Real quick, give a quick plug on the checklist play going to Atlantic City.
Yeah, it's a romantic comedy play. We did 4 shows in New York City. It's called The Checklist. It's going to be October 7th, and the show's at 8 o'clock. There's going to be a bus ride leaving the Bronx on October 7th, and it's going to be about, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's $100. You get $20 back. You can gamble by choice. That $80 is going to cover the round-trip ticket. There's going to be food and drinks on the bus. It covers the play and it covers the after party.
Well, Vic, I got 4 ladies here. I got Ashley North from Orange New Black, and obviously the 3 ladies you already saw. So why don't you slide by and bring them some chirps? I'm sure they'd be very happy and talk to you about going to Atlantic City. You like Atlantic City, Ashley?
Yes.
You know,
Ashley likes Atlantic City too.
If that check would have cut, I would took a private flight over there right now. Oh my God. And, yeah, I can't make it today because I'm making t-shirts. Right now I'm making hats and t-shirts, for the rest of the summer. I sold out on the white in 2.5 months. I ordered 300 prints between the hats and t-shirts, multi-tees, all the white shirts and hats are sold out. So now I'm back to the colors now.
We appreciate it, Vic. I got to get going. I got a guest here. I got to get this thing moving. But I love you, boy. Keep it up, man. Yeah. Situationships, positive energy.
Thanks, and it's the Chuck Justin. Thanks for rocking that hat and t-shirt.
Always, fam.
Got you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's Victor Villanueva from the checklist. Back to Ashley North, who you wanted a t-shirt, and we can bring you a t-shirt today. But you started out in Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. Again, very young, talented juices, obviously talented family. What gave you the wherewithal at a young age? I know you wrote a song about the Oklahoma City bombings, which I saw in your profile, which I found to be wild. I remember that when that happened, Timothy McVeigh and that whole situation. But somebody so young, where'd that come from to say, I want to express my feelings?
You're gonna laugh how I got into this industry.
Oh, it's not. I'm not gonna cry.
You're not gonna cry. The Oklahoma City bombing thing will come to that.
Yes.
But I was a little girl, and I was trying to drive the car to the neighbor's house.
Wait, we got to get a time perspective, like 10, 12.
Like 7.
Oh, wow. You trying to make that McDonald's
when I'm trying to steal the car, my
you
parents...
have a big wheel?
I lived in the country. The big wheel was the tractor.
That was the truck.
I didn't have the keys to the tractor, and the keys were left in the car, so I tried to drive the car to the neighbor's house. So my parents said either piano lessons or she's going to be a car thief. So that was really...
I got to get to that club, man.
I was like, dude, I'm starting early. Well, it was that, and I also had, the week before, had kicked the local sheriff in the ass.
Oh, wow. You was a rough at 7.
Wait. Did he deserve it, though?
Well, here was the deal. My dad owned a car dealership. Guy got behind on his payments. my dad says, you know what? I'm not going to repossess your car. You work it out, and I'll work with you on the
He
difference.
sent the 7-year-old to go ahead.
But no, he told me. He said, man, I just want to kick that guy square in the ass. And so I just went over and did it. And I said, I kicked him in the ass just like you said, Dad. You know, let's go. and Dad goes,
That's my girl.
my dad goes, tell my mother, she belongs to you. You raised that. So after that, you know, that when I started playing piano and I went into the, you know, the typical Southern story, playing in the Baptist church type thing, then, you know, moved up and started singing. I had someone that my piano teacher noticed that I could sing.
Right.
And so she told my dad, she says, she actually has a voice. And, you know, I'd be playing Bach and singing Carole King, you know, there's something really wrong with me.
Yeah.
So she was the one that pushed me into singing, and then we went in further and started, you know, working in places like Branson and New York.
And I mean, as you started that journey, just singing, I mean, you got a who's who of people you worked with. I mean, Trisha Yearwood, Garth Brooks, Joe. I mean, these are superstar names. Jody Miller.
I actually started with Garth Brooks. It was funny. I was doing Texas music. You know, I had reinvented myself in the music world, in our world. Went down to Texas, became Texas Entertainer there. They asked me to do Austin City Limits. When I did Austin City Limits, Trisha Yearwood and Garth Brooks were working that night. And, you know, Garth and I have a relationship because it started back in 1995 with the Oklahoma City bombing.
Yes.
We were, me, Garth Brooks, and a gentleman named Randy Wittern, and there was an NBC gentleman that was one of the affiliates at the time, had all got inducted into the National Archives. I didn't know what National Archives was. I was a kid.
You were still kicking,
Stealing cars.
money.
I was stealing cars. So, I was stealing cars. So, you know, I went to my mother and I go, what is National Archives? And I said, I think that I was just inducted into it. My mother goes, you just got nationally recognized. I was like, okay. Can I go play now?
So Garth never brought Molly to the house?
But Garth actually was inducted at the same time. We got inducted later on by Governor Keating.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, Devin Skillian was the gentleman's name. And so that's where I met Garth. And then my relationship continued with him when we did Austin City Limits.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Austin City Limits. You got to be a certain age to remember that as well. We're talking to the
And
superstar.
they're still on air, actually. It's
Yeah.
on PBS, I guess.
PBS now with Ashley North. So obviously through that, you started to model and do some modeling options. And then like you mentioned during the break, the acting thing just kind of found you.
It found me. I mean, my first attempt at it was when I was in Florida. And there was a little theater near my house. And I thought, well, you know what? I need something to do. I just moved here. So this is how I do things.
That's where you met Eddie at?
No, this is how I lead my life.
Next week we have a radio show. It's the Ashley North Show.
That's
You never know.
Hey, you never know. You never know.
You never know.
Suggestion.
You never know. But no, I walked into this theater and I said, well, I want to audition for one of the plays. And they said, oh, there's a lady. She just walked out. If you can audition for this part. I'd never acted in my life. I did Annie Get Your Gun, but I never counted that as acting because I'm singing
Lady,
and shooting.
get your gun.
Annie,
get your gun.
Well, you know, they gave me
And
a
shoot
shot.
him.
They gave me a shotgun with blanks, you know.
Oh, that's a
Keep
good
away-
thing. I'm glad they kept the real ones
After you
away
kick
from
the
you.
man in the butt.
And after I was shooting everything in the air, then they was like, okay, take the gun, wait till showtime.
You must feel very comfortable in New York.
Well, they've accepted me, and I'm insane. So, no, but I went into this theater, and I said, well, I was like, I don't even know how to do a monologue. I mean, like, what am I supposed to do? So she says, well, perform, sing something. So I started singing Janis Joplin to this woman,
Oh,
and
wow.
she gave me a role. And I'm like,
Nice.
what the hell am I supposed to? And I was supposed to learn it within like a week and a half because they were going on it. And I was like, holy crap, what have I gotten myself into? So they transformed me into this 75-year-old woman who was kind of like the Rose Nyland of it was a bull in a china shop. And my landlord at the time was Loretta Young, the legendary actress'
Yes.
son. And so you would go over to his house, and they had the Oscar in the house. Now, that night, the last night that I was performing.
You ain't take it, did you?
No, I didn't, but I picked it up and said, I think all the little people I had to step on to get
Put
here.
the wave on.
Thank you. But no, I went in there, and so I'm thinking, okay, I've got this down. I'm doing really good. Now, my landlord who's on network television, I'm going to go, I'm going to impress him. Like, I'm going to do this right. And man, I was like dead in the scene. So the guys that were carrying me on the gurney land me face down on the stage. And I'm like, this was supposed to be my Oscar award-winning moment, and you guys just threw my ass back down right on there like a flapjack.
And you got right up, too.
Well, no, they pulled the thing, and they put me back on the gurney, it was really hilarious. I'm like, yeah.
You ain't a pancake.
Show business, right?
I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
This is my real acting debut. So it went on, and you did some things in Miami, and then came here to New York, and as I have done television here in New York, I was waiting to finish my album. My producer of the album, I have 2 on it, Chris Young, who was in the Real Housewives of New York City.
Right.
He was taking his time a little bit, so we were both taking our time trying to create this thing. I said, well, I've got to do something to keep myself out there. So I just like, well, I'll go into television. And I was like, I swear to you, I wake up one morning, this is a light bulb in my head. So I went and took some acting business courses to make it as a business, so I could create a business for myself.
Right.
I swear to you, this is how I rolled with this. I was like, well, I'll start. Started out doing like background stuff, and then, eased up into the bigger stuff, and then I'm like, how did I get into this?
We need to really take you to Atlantic City or Las Vegas because everything you hit seems to roll 7s.
Sometimes.
Let's play some crabs. Always bet on black. We're talking to the lovely, talented Ashley North. So obviously, through the New York piece is how you found your way to Orange is the New Black?
Yes, it was. And, I started out, and moved up into the show as a background player. I just went in. It was the most requested Halloween costume of the year. And the only reason I remember that was because I was like, I could probably sell this thing after it. But, obviously you couldn't, because again, that car thief thing, you can't really, I've already known. So, and I'm already in jail, so that's kind of twisted.
Right.
So, I was in this prison suit, and I'm sitting there going, and they had featured me the first time I was on there in this orange suit, and I'm thinking, I think I belong here. And it was a thought in my head, but I never thought I would be there and be there as long as I've been. So it was you know where you belong. It's just kind of like my mentor in New York and for music, he ran every major record label, and he sat down, Morty Kraft, and when he moved to Florida, I moved into his apartment. They gave me the apartment to rent, and it was in Columbus Circle. I remember walking into his apartment one day going, I'll live here, and I don't even know why I was saying it, and I ended up living there. It's like you get those thoughts in your head, and you're supposed to be there in some capacity for some reason.
Well, you started on Orange is the New Black in 2014, and that was a really big year because you did Elementary, Blue Bloods, Law and Order. So you when you stepped into something, you really stepped into something.
I go full force.
It was a business.
To me, I look at it, I have a lot of fun, but there was a line that Reba McEntire said one time in an interview that I'll never forget.
Right.
She says, if you treat this like a business, your business will take care of you forever. If you treat it like a party, every party must end. And it's a very true statement.
Profound, yeah.
And, that always, when I read that article as a kid, I remember, because she was one of my idols, it stuck with me. It just stuck with me. I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going full force,
How does it feel like you mentioned Reba McEntire and Garth Brooks and some of these people you work with, and now they're peers? How is that from that little young girl in Oklahoma stealing cars and kicking, people who don't owe money in the butt, being that
in the butt,
to now being that peer, hey, it's Ashley and.
Well, I wake up every day knowing I'm privileged, and despite of how goofy I am right now, I know I'm privileged, and I know that my parents made their sacrifices for me. So it's not just me; it was them too.
Right.
And
it always starts with
all the people that put their hands on you. This is not a solo act. This show is not a solo act. Right.
It could be though.
Stop it.
I'm just saying.
Stop it. Don't even go there.
It's not a solo act.
Yes.
It's everybody taking their hands on you,
Blended
and the ones that have kept putting their hands on my back are all to contribute why I'm here.
Yes.
So I never say it, but every day I'm going, I call my mom, Mom, oh my God, I just worked with this guy, can you believe it? And then I have to hang up and say, I'm cool. I didn't have that breakdown 5 minutes ago with my mama. It was just like when I was working with George Clooney, there was a
George Clooney.
How was you just do that? Yeah, when I was working with George Clooney. George Clooney.
How was that? I'm curious. How was
I gotta
he?
tell you this story though. I was the guy. He put me at the director. Miss Jodie Foster. I'd worked with her at Orange Is the New
Oh my
Black.
goodness.
But what was funny? But there was a guy that was a PA that was also at Orange Is the New Black,
Right.
and he goes, "I'm gonna sit you next to George Clooney. Don't do any dumb Ashley shit. You know what I'm saying? That dumb Ashley shit that you do." And so I
Thank you, Ashley. Just cost us some money. But keep talking.
I'm so sorry.
George, pay that bill. I'm sorry, you were saying. No, don't worry about it. Keep going, baby.
I
It's good.
apologize.
Please.
Yeah, we got a problem.
Okay, just filter me a little. So he was standing right behind me, and I'm thinking, holy crap. I said, he's standing, I've watched this man on TV. I mean, I admire George Clooney. I'm sitting there going, Mom, like George Clooney standing right behind me. Oh my God. And he goes, oh, you texting your mom? George Clooney turns around, and I go,
You in my business.
And I said, and you're from Kentucky, right? And I was like, I didn't know what to say. I had to come
Should have
back.
said the facts of life. Where's Tootie? I'm showing my age again. So again, I mean, but these are now contemporaries. I mean, you're working with these people. It's no more shock and awe. How was it working with 50? You did one episode of Power.
I liked it because I got to play. It was a record executive and being trained by someone that was a record executive.
Right.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
fantastic. Talking to Lovely Ashley North, we gonna keep you on to over our next set because we got so much more to talk about. You started now. You're going back to your first love of music, and you got a record label. And I know it means a lot because it's about that base that started. We got a few minutes before we say goodbye to one audience, but let's start with it. Your record label, and obviously it means a lot because you named it after your father.
I named it after my father and mother, and it's called J Dash. And the J is John, my dad, and my mother's name's Denise. And I gave myself more letters because I'm vague.
You that cool.
Because I'm cool like that. And I started. J Dash was really started because Morty Kraft, who has everything from Casey and the Sunshine Band to Ray Charles, and all these different folks that he works with. He goes, we're going to go get distribution, so you got to figure out a name for a record label. This is how it was. So this was over a donut and a cup of coffee.
I hope Krispy Kreme.
Dunkin'?
Selfish plug.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, really? So all of a sudden I was like, well, I'll name it J Dash. I was thinking of all these names and I was like, oh, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this
But
doesn't work.
that's in typical Ashley form. It had to be spur of the moment
It had
because
to be.
it's not like you planning all this stuff.
Hey,
Yeah.
who has a legend going, let's go get distribution right now and let's go figure it out. And so he walks me into the Orchard, and the guy who founded the Orchard had a hand in Madonna's career.
Right.
And you're sitting there going, how did I get here? I think this all the time.
Yeah.
How did I get here? What am I doing? And all the time they're flying by the seat of my rear end. I mean, I always do.
You the new cookie.
Yeah, I'm a new cookie.
Literally new cookie.
No.
Sugar cookie.
It's somebody, a little kid. He's a cookie, man.
I'm a cookie.
She got some milk.
You and him could talk for hours. What they say?
I do. We do have a show on the Footprint Network called Cafe Con Leche. It's coffee and milk. It's very funny you say that. So it's I was like, I
Don't
guess
invite rodeo.
Oh, geez.
I can put a little bit of chocolate into that.
But going back to J Dash though, we created the label, started working with some artists, then I went on to the Footprint Network I was telling you about a little bit earlier, and created a music channel, and just started going to artists saying, there's no place for the artists to put their music videos. There's YouTube, and there's a billion people on YouTube. So to find a place that was a downloadable app that they could use I looked at it, Footprint's a network, but I looked at it like you can download it, and this is me right here. Here's my resume right here, and I'm on a network.
Yeah.
That not everyone's on. So I was like this, and so I sold it that way. And all of a sudden, these artists are bringing me Ed Sheeran, and they're bringing me Natasha Bedingfield. They're bringing, and they're all very seasoned. So the music's great, and we have hip hop and country and dance mix and Rick
One-stop shop for everything you need.
Yeah, I mean Rick Ross is going to be featured with a friend of mine that wrote Something You Need, Duncan Morley. He's recording with him right now. So shout out to Duncan wherever he's at. I love Duncan.
I hope Duncan's watching or listening.
Dunkin' Donuts, I hope you're watching. That's a long story.
Yeah.
But Duncan and, everybody just started bringing videos to me from around the world. And, I was having fun. It's my pet project, and I'm having fun with it.
Well, you know what it is. And
it's great music.
And I'll say this. Positive energy, Victor, wherever you listen, he just called, relates to positive energy. And I really believe that when two people are negative, they can probably get along. But two people who are positive and that ray of sunshine that you bring out of your soul, people attract to it. And these are the reasons why, in just my few minutes getting to know you, is saying a lot about who you are as a professional and what you bring to the table. So continue to do that. I know I ain't got to tell you that, but continue to do it anyway, because that ray of hope and light just makes people feel good inside. And when people feel good inside, they go do good things and they pass that along. So our world needs that more than ever, I think, in this day and age.
The network, I have to spread on it a little bit because, I have a television show on it, well, I guess a web series.
Yeah.
Cafe Con Leche, which is kind of a reality talk show, so it's kind of like what we're doing here today, but it's kind of with me and Lulu Lopez, and it was produced by Frank Fernandez, who is a 3-time Emmy Award winner.
Frank Fernandez,
and Robin Adams, and they're former NBC guys, but we try to keep that part of it away. But they're so
Google me.
You Google it, you find it. They also produced my video, Something You Need, and the series. But they created the network, and Frank had approached me about doing the music channel. I was like, well, I don't have time. At first, it was like, I don't have time. He goes, do the music channel.
That's how Frank talks.
No, that was how I said. No. Frank says you should do a music channel like that. And I'm like, okay, this is something I could do. And then it just, rapid fire, and people have been telling me.
We keep it moving, still with the talented Ashley North.
Hello.
And learning so much about Ashley and her Sooner years and her
Cardiff career.
Well, we already learned that.
Her filters. I'm loving these filters.
We keep it positive.
I have to have a filter. You should have one of those bleep buttons for me. Bleep.
I'm sure our affiliates do.
They're like, who let this person on the air? Beep.
So you sound like it's like a public announcement, huh? Like, ooh.
The person you have heard.
That's what you saw Ed.
Ed, he likes to invite strange women over for Thanksgiving, so maybe you saw him around the holidays. He's very philanthropic around that time of year.
He likes to cook.
But we were talking during the break about, again, that you spent time being from Oklahoma. You went to University of Oklahoma in Norman, and a football fan, sung at some of the sports teams, Rangers, Texas Rangers. And you mentioned a man who's not having a great weekend right now, Jerry Jones, sung at the Dallas Cowboys. What is your thoughts on what's happened in Big D with the Ezekiel Elliott situation?
This is the only time I will probably shut my mouth.
Okay.
Okay? Because I, know kind of both parties, and it's just better to...
Fair enough.
And, sometimes it's better to be politically correct.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Jerry won't invite you back. Ashley, you don't want to come back to the Jerry house? So we're not going to mention that anymore. But let's move on with going back to your time here in New York. You've been in New York 7 years. And you, I guess become a New Yorker in itself from a standpoint. But what was the biggest, transition from small town to big city?
I had lived in West Palm for 3 years, so I had already transitioned from Oklahoma City. So that was really...
So West Palm was kind of like your build-up.
It was my build-up to when I came to New York City.
Much better weather.
It was like, it wasn't such a harsh, crash. I will tell you, when I moved to West Palm, I probably cried for 6 months. But, I knew that I had to, leave.
Beautiful weather in West Palm.
It really is. It's beautiful weather, beautiful beaches, beautiful people. The first week I was there, I have to tell you this story.
Please.
I walked into this club. It was the old Palm Beach Club. It was where the Kennedys or something used to hang out. So we walked into this club, and I'd never seen more Botox in my life. So,
Nice.
and I personally was like, nobody has.
Why is her face stretched? Like
No, for real. Nobody had a real face. And I mean, where I come from, people keep their face.
Yeah,
so I was like, well, hell. So there was, at the time, you know, it was really where Paris Hilton was at the top of her flight, you know. And so this woman, and she had to be pushing 65. But she looked 40.
Nice. Good
Okay.
for her. Good
Keep
for
it
So
up.
her.
all of a sudden, she snaps her fingers like this. These two women came next to her, and I sit there, and I was looking at my friend Martin like, what the heck just happened? And they walk out like they were a part of the Brat Pack in Los Angeles. I was like, what?
Donka Shane.
That's her team right there. She's working with her
And
team.
she's like, these are my girls. And it was like gangster meets.
Were they young girls? Or?
They were her age, but they were all poofed up too.
It's very
And-
cliquey in that world.
It's very, very cliquey, and
Yeah.
so they're like, if you know someone and they know someone, then you become a part of it. So what I did is went down in the summer when no one was there and got to know all the bartenders. So that they thought I belonged to somebody on the island.
You did it, Justin.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
I'm the bar guy.
I'm
but
the
listen, your bartender is your friend, and they usually know everyone.
They do.
Oh, yeah.
And that is the truth.
That's a Justin.
You know, especially in Nashville, you want to. There's like I have two bartenders that which I will keep their names anonymous because they know
Protect the
they're
innocent.
I'm protecting the innocent,
But they take
but
care
they
of
know
you.
who they are. But no, they come. No, they're the ones that lead me to the links that I need. So if I need somebody, they usually have their phone number and they're calling for me and they bring them to me.
Are these the New York guys now?
No, they're in Nashville.
So what about the New York bars? I mean, what's the?
In New York,
you got any hookups here now? Have you got any allies?
I do, and you know I have to. But New York is different.
Yeah.
You know, New York, it's like you really have to just establish yourself. It's not, hey buddy, come down here at 4 o'clock and you bring me this guy.
You
from
just
this
this number
label.
after the show.
That's like you're getting some weed or something. That's a weed.
That sounds like the connects I don't do.
4 o'clock, and I need
Got
you.
that bud?
Actually, I'm over here at 6:30. Be here by 7. You know.
And I said, you bring that record executive down here by 7:30, you know? And I mean, it's like the underground system or something, you know? Here, you know, you have to really know someone because this is the power. New York is the power of the entertainment industry, and it always has been. And LA always, you know, reported back to New York. They still do. And so New York has always been the hub. So I basically fell into, I thought when I moved here that I was supposed to hang out at the Plaza Hotel. So in hindsight, I kept meeting people.
Really, the spot is the W for people from out of town.
But hell, I didn't know. But what happened was I met a gentleman one night. We were all sitting around. One ended up being Tito Puentes' stepson, but the other was one of the Rothschild children. I didn't know this till later.
Oh boy.
So,
Oh, boy.
And so
boy.
he was talking to me, and he says, "Well, I have this friend of mine that I would like you to meet." And it was Morty Kraft, and he ran all these major record labels, and that was my interlude
You
in.
have an amazing. You're like you know what
random
you guys-
things,
She is
random.
almost like what Tom Hanks played. What was the movie he played?
He played in a lot of movies, my brother.
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump, right? It's
Forrest
like
Gump.
you just like you pop
Soon as
up,
you
bam,
get
you're
there,
there.
something
Like,
happened.
But it was like that. And when I met Morty took me under his wing, and he every Saturday I'd go up to his apartment, and he would say,
wait a
"This is
minute, Maury.
Morty."
Okay, no,
No,
Morty.
not like that. Though.
I'm playing.
But no, I would go up there, and he would teach me how to run a record label, and that was
Wow.
his thing. And then I would hang out with him and go out to these different places, and you know, people, and then everybody knew me as like Morty's little sidekick, you know. And it's
Which
like
ain't too bad.
Which is when you're the legend's sidekick, you can't really complain. But you know, he's in his 90s. He's still alive,
Yeah.
and he's in his 90s.
He's still alive.
When he's going to be 97 next week. I mean, come
God
on.
bless him.
God bless
bless
him.
him.
Maury living a charmed life too. Bless
You know,
him.
and he's in Florida now, and you know, he was like my father mentor,
Yes.
not like a father because I had a great father,
Yes.
have a great stepfather, but he was a great mentor.
Never can have enough good people in your corner.
And you know what? His daughters have been really great to me too. I mean, they've treated me like family.
Wow.
I mean, it's really surprising.
You know what? All I
Mornings
want
for
to say
Christmas.
that. All I want to say to Ashley is like I want to be like the Wonder Twin powers, like Wonder Twins. So when I hit you,
Yeah.
whatever you have, you give to me, and I'm not gonna give what I have to you.
Ashley,
Yeah, reject whatever he has.
Ashley is 7 years old and kick him in the butt.
You know, now you know, I used to throw children on set, so you know, I can actually probably pick you up and throw you. No,
Right to the pane glass.
we're like, what do you mean we had to pay for a door? You know, our last guest, she was a nut. You know, she forgot to take her medication day. Does insurance cover that?
I think they got Affleck up in here. I think Rodeo. Obamacare hasn't been outvoted in the Senate, so he's all right. We got a few minutes left, and I got to thank you again for coming up
Thank
this
you for
Saturday
having
morning. It's really been a real pleasure, a breath of fresh air. But unlike Ashley, from our conversation, everything is kind of like it just let it happen. It's rhythm of life. But if you had to pick the next 5 years, professionally, personally, whatever you want to divulge, what would it be like? What's the next phase for Ashley?
I think now is creating original content that I'm in. You know, also, you know, proceeding with my music career because I kind of stepped back a little bit because even though I have a label and have a music channel, but I literally kind of stepped back to do the acting because it just kind of ignited. So I kind of want to get back on stage and just continue what I'm doing. I mean, you know, you just go with the rhythm and whatever life passes you by, you're supposed to have, you know, and I'm supposed to be doing this for a reason. So
No doubt. You found the path.
You remind me a little bit. I know you don't look like her. You remind me a little bit of Adele.
people tell me that a lot. People tell me that a lot, you know. But
Can
what
you
about,
sing like Adele? Can you hit that
no,
note?
I'm not that cool.
Don't worry about it.
No, I probably
Sing like Ashley.
Yeah,
You probably could. You could.
No, you know, I can. I just didn't want to.
Oh, there we go. There it is. There it is.
They're gonna A
Ashley
personality.
say, look,
There it is.
go behind the door and I'll sing.
Yeah.
One more time, Ashley, give your information to our audience.
You can find me at Ashley North and Facebook. God, my brain just went out the window. A North 30 on Instagram, A North 30 on Twitter.
Thank you so much for coming. It's been a pleasure. Promise us that the next thing you drop, but it might be next week. You might have a whole new thing. You come back and talk about it here
Totally.
first.
Thank you for having me.
No
though.
doubt.
Twins.
Ashley North, ladies and gentlemen.